To you all respected people, thank you for coming out here today. My ancestral name. My ancestral name is Shamanso. I come from the Squamish Nation, and the Nisga'a Nation. Feels extremely good in my heart here to be here today. Hoichka. I also said we all have peace in our feelings here today. I'd like to thank the Hupacasath for the work that they're conducting here today, challenging Canada, challenging Harper against FIPA. We are demonstrating our inherent right to speak up on behalf of Mother Nature. This is our job. We've been told since we're little kids, we are caretakers of this land. It is our job to maintain that balance. I also said, Wa'ochit in Chotmo, let us all continue to stand together as one. Let us, Wa'ochit Chinchin Stwait, let us all work together harmoniously. Hoichka. I'd like to thank you all for standing forward. This is a really important action that we're taking here today. We're telling the government, FIPA does not belong here in Canada. We live in a country of democracy. This democracy was taught to the Canadian government by the First Nations people. We helped establish this country since the very beginning. And we're going to continue standing forward and reminding you there has to be a balance between respecting the land and all of us living here together. So I'd like to thank you all. And on behalf of Greenpeace, I'm the new volunteer coordinator. We stand here in solidarity with you. We stand in support of the work that is happening here today. Sundance Chief Reuben George from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. He's been working really hard to raise awareness to all the people internationally about the tar sands development, the pipelines and super tankers, reminding the people of the teachings that we have to continue sharing and utilizing those teachings to live in harmony with nature. So Hoichka, please come forward. Reuben George, Hoichka.
I'd like to introduce my sister Charlene. She's one of our matriarchs of our Tsleil-Waututh community, newly elected, and I'm going to ask her to do a welcome.
Hi, Nshkwalawin, Siam, CI. Thank you, respected elders, for being on our unsurrendered territory of Tsleil-Waututh Nation, shared with Musqueam and Squamish. We're here in support of protecting our land and our territories. It's our inherent right and responsibility to take care of this land for the ones that are following us. So thank you for all being here today. Haich.
Hupacasath Cecilia Point to Litsanapwa Pamatsquim. Hupacasath everyone for supporting us today. I'm so proud of Mandy. The young people are leading the way. They're walking across Canada to Ottawa. They're organizing these rallies. I'm just overwhelmed, so I have to thank you. I'm filled with Elijah Harper right now. He's in my head yelling, so I'm finding it hard to find the words. The other day, before the Premier announced that she was not, fully supporting the Enbridge pipeline, I prayed that she would remember that she is a Liberal. She is not, she has never professed to be a Conservative. And I prayed that Elijah would come to her in a dream and remind her of that. And that she would think about First Nations people. So hopefully that's working. I ask everyone actually to pray for her and to pray for our government, or the government that alleges to be our government. To think about their children and their own grandchildren. We're not just asking this for First Nations people. So I think that's all I have to say. I want to hand it back to Ruben and Judith, and I'm really thankful that your nation is stepping forward in this way. We got to keep our warrior faces on. My friend here just said, yes, it's going to be a long, hot summer, and it is. I think it's going to be a long, hot 2 more years until this government's out. So, Hupacasath, thank you.
Hello everyone, great to have you here. Is Grand Chief Stuart Phillip in the crowd? Would he come to the front? We really want to acknowledge, and I know that the protocol has been taken care of. What's that? Okay, so I wanted to introduce you to the Hupacasath elected chief and council. Steve is right here. Steve Tatouche is our elected chief. Warren Lauder, where are you?
There he comes.
Oh, he's coming forward now with the glasses. Warren's on council. Yeah. And this is Brenda Sayers. She's been directing it. She was on council. The Chief of Council allowed her to continue to work on this. And acknowledging the Hupacasath people over here, our youth, our elders, yay! I know you've all been excited and get you going, and so let's do a little bit of cheering. Oh, sorry, Cliff Atleo is here, President of the Nechonla Tribal Council. Makina Nish, oh there's... Okay, before we start our list of speakers, let's do a little bit of rallying, and let's do no FIPA, no FIPA, come on, no FIPA, 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 no FIPA. Okay, let's try a little bit one that's a bit more. Defend our land. Defend our land! 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 Thank you. Now we're in the spirit. I want to introduce our elected chief, Stephen Tatouche, to say a few words.
My name's Steve Tatouche. I am the elected councillor for the Hupacasath Nation in Port Alberni on Vancouver Island. And I just wanted to know, I see our Vice President back there from New Channel Tribal Council. I just acknowledge his attendance. If he wants to come forward, he's more than welcome to. I just wanted to thank the host nations, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam for allowing us here to do our important business. We were in the courtroom all this morning, and our lawyer, Mark Underhill, is doing a fabulous job up there, and it's looking very positive. He's an excellent lawyer. Just to give you a little background, when this first came to our attention, we decided as a council to challenge the FIPA because it had drastic implications on our Section 35 rights, and it's unconstitutional. And so we just want to protect our future generations, our kids. But Mr. Harper needs to know that he has to consult with First Nations when he makes big decisions like this. And, but on behalf of our nation here, I see a lot of attendance here, and I see a lot of support. And I'd like to thank all the supporters and British Columbians, Canadians who all chipped in, pulled money out of their pockets to help with this legal challenge. And special thanks to Brenda for leading the show on this. She's so just a few thanks. I know I'm probably going to forget somebody, but we've got the Council of Canadians. Lead Now, Avaz, Elizabeth May, West Coast Environmental Law, BC Teachers Federation, Council of Canadians, right? Council of Canadians. And I'd just like to thank our youth. We brought all our youth over, and as I'm going to hand the mic over to Brenda here, but I'd like to thank our youth and elders for taking the long trip over. And our young New Channel princess started the court case off this morning with a beautiful prayer, so she started the day off with a blessing. So thanks, and chew.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Brenda Sayers, and just wanted to say a few things about her. She heard about this court case at the end of September after Elizabeth May was talking about it, and she was really, really concerned. And she started calling everybody up and getting on the phone and getting on people's case. So we got to do something, we got to do something, we got to do something. And she went to the council, and they said, go for it. And so we had a good council that supported her in her efforts to bring this, to work on this. She spent day and night and stressed out about this, and so really want to thank her for all her efforts, and we'll hear her words.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Brenda Sayers. I'm a woman from Hupacasath First Nation, and I hold the portfolio for the Canada-China FIPA Court Challenge. I'd like to thank Chief and Counsel Warren Lauder and Chief Stephen Tatouche for allowing me to carry on this portfolio after the election. And I just want to say what an honor it is to be in front of all of you today, and to thank you all for being here to share some time with us to hear what we have to say. I want to say that it's been an honor to work for all the members of the Hupacasath First Nation through their direction to serve the people of Canada and all First Nations across Canada. Yeah. I would like to introduce the people that are supporting our court challenge. First of all, we have UBCIC Grand Chief Stuart Phillip. And Bob Chamberlain, the Vice President of UBCIC. They have been a rock to Hupacasath since this has all started, so thank you very much for your help. We also have Hupacasath First Nation. They hold a modern-day treaty, so they were a very important part of this court challenge to participate. So Chief Bryce Williams from Hupacasath First Nation. Also, very importantly, is the largest representation of First Nations in Canada is the Chiefs of Ontario. The Chiefs of Ontario have offered an affidavit in support of our court challenge, and in particular, Serpent River First Nation Chief Isidore Day. These are the people that have supported us up to this point of the court challenge. We have had large support from organizations that we could not have made it this far if it weren't for them. And like Chief Stephen Tatouche mentioned, the Council of Canadians, Maud Barlow, Stuart True, Harjap Gruwal, those are three of the people that have been working closely with us. Lead now, Jamie Vigar and Julia Pope, Matthew Carroll. Get my list out here because I might forget. Avaz. Are there any members of Avaz in the crowd? Avaz representation can be, thank you. Say thank you to Avaz. West Coast Environmental Law, Jessica Clogg and Andrew Gage. And if any of these people are in the crowd, I'd just ask them to come forward, please, and stand with us. BC Federation of Labor, Irene Lanzinger. Irene, if you could come forward, please. BC Teachers Union, Susan Lambert. Canadian Auto Workers, Susan Spratt, who recently retired as the Vice President. And very importantly, I'd like you to introduce you to the Backbone volunteer who put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into getting the court challenge this far, as well as these people here who I've just mentioned. The volunteers are Ellen Chambers, Ellen Weaver, Tara Stafford, Bob Ages, Lori Waters, also we would like to thank, Hupacasath would like to thank Ian Caplet and Anne Robinson. Right there. Jan Green and Roy Sutherland. It is because of all these good people that I have just mentioned here today that we are here. And also, all of you people in the crowd here who have contributed to our legal fund. We have managed to fundraise $150,000 plus. Because of all the good people of Canada who have contributed to this very important legal challenge. Also, I wanted to thank, on behalf of Hupacasath, the lawyers, most importantly. Mark Underhill and Kathy Boyce Parker of Underhill Boyce Parker Law Corporation. Who have graciously donated a large portion of their time for the good and the people of Canada and their future. Yeah. I want people here to know how important this Canada-China FIPA is for those of you who know and for those of you who don't know. It's a very important agreement that will impact Canada over the next 10, 15, 20, and 30 years if it is ratified by the Stephen Harper government. It will affect our resource extraction, it will affect our children, it will affect our future generations. And I ask all of you here today to please spread the word about Canada-China FIPA. It must become a household word because there has not been enough said about the Canada-China FIPA. There must be more said, and people need to step forward and do their part to contribute to the good of Canada. This is something that I'm going to ask all of you to do here today, to please participate in this very important movement. And you know, today, it's been 9 months today since we have started on this Canada-China FIPA Court Challenge. 9 months of very hard work. It's been expedited, so there's been probably 6 months of work squished into 3 months. So there's been a lot of hard work to get it to this point, but I'm really happy to say today that we made it through all the challenges that were put in front of us for the last 9 months, and I tell you that some of them were grueling, that today Hupacasath First Nation and all of the supporters walked through the doors of the federal courthouse to have our story told. Our logo, the logo that we have created was done by my brother, the drawing, back in 1990 or something like that, when I was first going to start a business. And it just happened to fit exactly into what we were doing here today. And our theme is "We Stand Together." We have been speaking all along about how we're all in this together, all walks of life, all nations. We're all in this together. We need to get together, we need to work together, and we need to beat this thing. So I'm just going to wrap up now, but I wanted once again to thank Hupacasath and all the supporters here for coming out today, Chief and Council, and all of you good people who have come out to be with us today and share a little bit of time with us. Thank you for your contribution to this court challenge, and please continue to pray for us and think about us, and good energy your way because we need it. This is a big job, and I just want to thank you all again. It's an honor to be here.
Isn't she wonderful? Let's try that. All right, let's try this. We stand together. 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 Okay, great. Just wanted to acknowledge in the crowd as well, we have a couple of other chiefs out there. I saw Chief Jeff Cook from Hupacasath, and I saw Chief Gordon Planis from Souk, and if anyone else is out there, remind me. I see a council member, our cousin, Gary. Okay, so I wanted to pass the mic on to Grand Chief Stuart Phillip, who has been a great, can you go to Cliff? Okay, We're going to go to Cliff Atleo. Sorry, I lost my agenda. And he's going to sing the Nuchana song and say a few words. Oh, he's going to sing the song after.
Oh, good. Chew after we got Jamata attract the Cotsinisma, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, Utswinyuk, Quakanishimut, he is this market, Omatuk, Ehmatuk, Quapmatik, Joinet, Harper government. I wanted to express appreciation, first of all, for the owners of this territory that we're on to allow us to come together to voice our concerns about this major item that is generated by FIPA. I would encourage all of you that are able to do a little bit of research into the actual document itself and read it. And read about some of the implications, because they are huge and they are very serious. Already, an agreement with China and one of the European countries. That agreement kicked in, and that European country had to pay $6 billion to the Chinese company. That's not a small thing, and what it does is guarantee protection, 100% for the Chinese investors. Albeit this agreement calls for that same protection for Canadian investors. But do we have a gold rush mentality? We're going over to China to invest in their companies? Not a whole lot. And it's a 30-year agreement. A 30-year agreement. And that's why we're standing here today, voicing our concerns about future generations. We don't hear that often enough in society. Instead, we hear about agendas that last for 5 years. Then we have to rethink it after the election, depending on who wins. And so, we proudly stand here with one of our nations from Nuchana. I remember the concerns being raised, and I remember all the emails that were generated to MPs on the eve, within hours of it being approved in Parliament. And that put a halt to it, finally, because somebody was actually reading the document and somebody was actually understanding what its implications are. And many thanks to all the organizations that have stepped forward to support the position. Let go, let go.
All right, I'm seeing if I get my order right. Was Cliff going to sing? Or is we're going to let Stuart speak? Reuben George is also as Tsleil-Waututh.
You don't have to look very far to see the destructional things that happen in our communities. Just recently in Hawaii, 400 parts per million carbon in our atmosphere hit Hawaii. When that happened globally, when our world hit that mark, was 2 million years ago, and the tides rose 30 feet. You know, when I see and I know and in the work that I do, I get messages like this sent to me all the time. And sometimes it's discouraging. But I like to thank my relatives of the Nuchana for standing up. When I was down and out and I needed hope, I put out a prayer. And I looked to the side and there was a little dandelion. Something that was man-made, that wasn't meant to have nature to grow out of it. All the elements pushing it down, of the carbon, of the tires, of the dirt and the pollution. That man-made structure in the middle, right in the middle was a dandelion. Maybe it took years for that dirt to fall off the tires and to fall in the corner, then a seed fell out, then it blossomed into a beautiful dandelion. Then I saw my answer. I saw my answer that created hope. That, as well as with my relatives, my sister, I'll stand up with them. Tsleil-Waututh Nation will stand up with them. They show us hope, not only as First Nations of this territory, but they show hope for all of Canada. Just like a beautiful flower, my sister stood up with her nation. They said, no more craziness from our government. No more craziness from Harper and his crazy decisions that is only looking out for that 1%. It's not looking out for you. What we need is Canada to wake up. Canada needs to wake up. I was really discouraged when the government stayed in power. When I was on holiday, I was hoping to come home to a new government, a new way, some hope. And it's really discouraging. It's really discouraging. What I thought is what we need is a champion like our prayers or what we lead out to for people to stand up for what we believe in. Stand up against these crazy decisions that our government's making to slow us down, being allies and supporting that 1% that causes destruction to our earth. Our prayers and our teachings of where we come from as human beings come from our earth. The songs that our relations sing, the drums that they carry, our lessons come from the earth, and that's what we stand up to protect. It's not just our First Nation problem. All the beautiful people, it's good to see that you mentioned so many supporters of all different walks of life that are slowly starting to get aboard and join to stop this, because it's all of our problem. We need to stand up to this and wake up our country. Wake up our country, because what I believe in as Canadian citizens, when they see the true facts of what's going on and what they're trying to do, they will oppose it as well. They will make better decisions as well. They will look out for their future generations. They will look out for their children. And like we've been saying all along at Tsleil-Waututh, because they're stuck in their greed and their thirst for power, that they're not going to do it for their future generations, I will stand with you, my relations, and we will. Hupacasath.
Clayco, Ruben. And he's here again today, so here's Stuart Phillip.
Hupacasath FIPA and Chaya Squeeze Asiut. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Coast Salish peoples, the Tsleil-Waututh, the Squamish, the Musqueam, and Tawasin. And I would like to, in particular, express our sincere and deep gratitude to Brenda Sayers from Hupacasath, who was the person that was absolutely relentless in her phone calls, her emails, her text messages many months ago, absolutely demanding that the leadership, the political leadership of our organizations get off our butts and do something about FIPA. It underscores the fundamental truth that if we hope as brothers and sisters, as grandmothers and grandfathers, mothers and fathers, to safeguard and protect this planet, we are going to need the type of leadership demonstrated by Brenda Sayers, who knows and understands that that responsibility lies in her hands, and her children and her community and her nation depends on her ability and willingness to stand up and speak out and not be silent. And that's exactly what she did. Let there be no mistake. The fight we are involved in is going to change the history of this country, and it will change the history of this entire planet. We are up against incredibly powerful forces that seek to exploit Mother Earth, that seek to exploit the land resources for nothing more than corporate greed, for shareholder interest, for profit, for people that represent a very small minority of society and who, quite frankly, don't give a crap about the environment, about human rights, and about the interests of all of us and our families. This is the same fight that we're all involved in, opposing Northern Gateway's Enbridge pipeline proposal, Kinder Morgan's pipeline expansion proposal, the Site C Dam, fracking in the Northeast, Tazico's new Prosperity Mine proposal, the industrialization and the fish farming along the coast, the specter of tanker traffics coming down the coast, turning Vancouver into an oil port, and all of those things that are being promoted by the Harper government, who we all know through omnibus legislation has completely gutted the regulatory environmental framework that used to serve to safeguard and hold the corporate world to account. So when we can no longer depend on the honor of the Crown, when we can no longer depend on the courts to uphold our rights, and I'm talking about all of our rights, the rights of all people, then, brothers and sisters, we have to take this issue into our own hands, and we have to be willing. We have to be willing to come together and unite like never before. And we have to set aside any personal differences, any political differences, any ideological differences, and we have to know and understand that the common good of the entire planet depends on our ability to come together, to unite, to work together, and to push back the Harper government agenda, the Clark government agenda, and all like-minded governments and corporations that seek to destroy this planet, that seek to destroy the environment and Mother Earth. That's why we were put here as human beings. And I know that you all understand that. And I want to say that I am so grateful for those of you that know me. I have 14 grandchildren, 7 granddaughters, 7 grandsons. Every breath of air I take, I think about what the future holds for those beautiful grandchildren, and I know you do the same. And so it's through our collective effort and our work that we will be able to protect the legacy that was given to us so that we can pass it on to them. So I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to come here. I thank all of the supporters for the Hupacasath court case and all of the contributions. And I know that we will see each other again and again and again as we march through the streets, as we take to the roads and the rail lines and whatever it takes to stop this Harper government agenda, to stop the Clark government agenda in terms of industrializing this planet. So we need to stop Harper, 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 stop Harper. One more time. FIPA sucks. 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 FIPA sucks.
I'm going to have to find a better one than Stuart now. Just wanted to acknowledge a couple of other leaders I see in the crowd, and we have a council member from Lyaxon, Shanna Manson. My brother-in-law has arrived. He's the national chief of the Dene Nation. Him and his wife traveled here from Yellowknife to be with us, to stand with us. So now we're going to have a little bit of singing to... Oh, and Curtis Dick is back there from Hupacasath. And Ken Watts, our Vice President of the Nechanish Tribal Council. We are going to sing the Nuchala song, so if there are any Nuchala in the crowd, please come and we're going to sing it, and then the Hupacasath are going to do our song. So, Hupacasath in the crowd, come forward. Lend your voice. Okay.
Just so that you know, this Nuchala song, I always call it our national anthem. And no offense to Canadians, but I actually don't sing "O Canada." But this song comes from a Hauset. It came from a head chief's house in a Hauset, Maquina, who recognized the Nuchala nations coming together as one to achieve the ends that were beneficial to our people. It's a song of inspiration. It's a song that lifts you up. And it's a warrior song. And it also says we will not be defeated.
right, getting to the rest of our speakers list here. We wanted to give each of our supporters a moment to say a few words. And from the Council of Canadians, is Harap Drewal here? Harap? Oh, there you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I wanted to start off by acknowledging the Coast Salish territories that were gathered on here today, the unceded territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam people. And I also wanted to say that not just because to acknowledge the territories, but I've been honored to be around communities like the Hupacasath and others that have been fighting for their communities, celebrating, singing together for a very long time. And I want to just commit myself over and over again to support their self-determination on these territories. I wanted to also say, just this past week, I was lucky enough to travel around with a few people to different communities around BC to talk about these trade agreements, these so-called trade agreements that we're all fighting against. And FIPA is just one of them. And we were joined by Brenda at a couple of the stops, and what's really important for us to understand is that these agreements fundamentally are about furthering corporate rights. That's the underlying point of these agreements. Not so much to do with trade, not a lot to do with international cooperation. It's really about extending the rights of corporations. And we've seen that recently with the case of Lone Pine Resources. A resource company that does fracking around the world is based in Calgary. They opened up an office in Delaware in the United States in order to use NAFTA, which is one of the first corporate rights agreements that we've come up against, to challenge the moratorium on fracking that was passed by Quebec. So basically, this company is suing the Quebec government. This company is suing the Quebec government for $250 million because they chose to say no to fracking. And this is what shame. This is what investment protection looks like. It's basically a bailout for corporations when communities decide to say no. And we know here on the West Coast, whether it's pipelines, whether it's mining projects, whether it's mega dams, whatever it is, we know Indigenous communities whose territory is largely unceded are continuing to say no. So what we're basically doing with signing these agreements is saying that we're willing to just cough up billions of dollars to multinational corporations as soon as communities exercise the right to say no. And that's fundamentally what this is about. The underscored issue here is about these agreements. So whether we're talking about this FIPA, the Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement with the European Union, the new Trans-Pacific Partnership that Canada is negotiating with 12 other Pacific Rim countries, or NAFTA. We have to understand that we are opposed to all of this, and this court challenge by the Hupacasath is going to be really a beacon, it's going to lead the way in terms of showing how fundamentally flawed all of these agreements are, not just the FIPA. And the last thing I just want to end with, I just want to again, first of all, thank the Hupacasath for taking this stand, but also recognize that this fight is ongoing. We're not that far away from Seattle where the WTO was shut down a bunch of years ago. But we also need to recognize this year is the 20th anniversary of NAFTA. And 20 years ago, Indigenous communities in Mexico, the Zapatistas, rose up against these agreements. And right now, we are also standing with Indigenous communities that are rising up to these agreements. And so we're really coming around 20 years again to stand with Indigenous communities. So I thank you all for being here.
Thank you. The courthouse is that building right there. You're all welcome to come and sit in the courtroom on the 8th floor. The ushers will show you where to go. And the Chief Justice of the Federal Court is asking some very interesting questions. He's done his homework, he's read the material, and just one thing that Brenda forgot, and because I'm her older sister I could do this. She forgot to thank the Chief Justice for his willingness to listen to the arguments for First Nations people, and I think generally for the Canadian public, because he knows what's in that FIPA.
In ancient times when gods were women, worshipped for their ability, the power to bring food forth and to work to keep them safe and free. It's time to awaken the ancient goddess to help us save our precious earth. When we listen to the ancient wisdom, we can understand our true life's worth. Listen to the voices of those poor women who dreamed the dream of I don't know more, recognized its worth and gave it birth, and sent their message flying forth.
I'm so grateful for everybody who walked today. I'd like to give a round of applause for all the people who came down to the harbor. I know there was some confusion, but I'd like to say thank you to all of the people who came down to the harbor and took the time to do protocol, entering into these territories and doing what needs to be done today as we stand together. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone for that. Many of you who know me know I can talk a lot. A lot of what and many who know me as well know that I usually just talk about what's on my heart. I'm formally educated in Western traditions. I carry an MA in Indigenous governance. I carry a BA, and all of that is good and all that, don't get me wrong. But what's more fundamentally important, I think, is just being able to connect as human beings with one another. We all are here in this place, and we've come from very different backgrounds to get here. But that is not anywhere near as important as what we can do together. It's so important that we look at each other and we see the human being. We see that we all come from ancestors and we all have children, or we all taking responsibility for the lives of children. Because that is the most important thing today. It's not about rights. It's not about political will. What it is about carrying forward a plan for our children so we can live. We have young ones who have come here today. I brought my family with me today. My son, who's 10 months old, my daughter, who's 9, and another one where we're not sure, but they're about -3 months right now. And they're coming along. And they're going to be coming into this situation through no fault of their own. They're going to be coming and facing the end of a possible existence free from corporate domination over every aspect of their lives, your lives, my lives, and theirs. We have a responsibility to stand up for them. We have a responsibility to fight. To me, it's paying rent. To me, it's acting respectfully in the nations that we live in. All of these lands have territorial backgrounds. And the problem with this society and with this world in general is that the balance has shifted completely away from the natural laws of it. The natural laws which Indigenous peoples have been carrying forward for thousands of generations. In balance, with everybody represented, with everybody taken care of, enough food to go around, enough land for people to live on, under certain guidelines, which makes sure that everybody has what they need. And really, isn't that what we're trying to do? So why are we recreating the wheel? Anyhow, I can, as I said, I could go on for those of you who know me. And for those of you who just met me, I'm sure you can guess why. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for giving me your time. I'd like to thank each and every person who has taken time out of their day or out of their lives to fight for a good purpose. And today is a good purpose, so thank you.
We need to get upstairs to the courtroom, but I realize I forgot to introduce myself. Hupacasath FIPA Court. My English name is Judith Sayers, and Brenda is my sister, and proud to be a part of a Hupacasath Nation. So let's just do one more chanting before we go off into our different worlds, and let's do Harper must resign! 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 Okay, and then just let's go into no FIPA once more time. No FIPA! No FIPA! No FIPA! No FIPA! No FIPA! No FIPA! Woo, okay, go out into the world and educate everybody to no FIPA. Thank you so much, everybody.